100 muscles, so I gotta feel it. I'm a skinny jean weird. Living life fast, switch the gear, nigga. Still feeling broke, but I'm getting richer. Anybody got a never chasing never. Trap a hit his body, now his body quiver. He a little snitch, keep it real pippin'. Ghost in the cut and he still drippin'. And I'm the wild card, gotta deal with it. Lippin' with the biscuit, Fred Durst. I see money flip off the wet work.
Shout out to the 845. Tune in tonight. Happy Friday to everybody. I got two special guests in the building that are going to be with us. And then I got a ponytail, y'all. My forehead is shining. Shout out to all the ladies with the big foreheads. I got edges though. That's all that matters is I got edges though. Shout out to Everett Coley. Shout out to ENC Media Group. If you need photography, videography, if you need whatever you need, EC Media Group. Shout out to Dope Coley. Let's go. I'm a cute, a hard bars. Shout out to my student intern, my 14-year-old DJ, Angie. Well, I keep calling you Angie. Angel on the ones and twos. She's doing her thing as a DJ. Make sure you guys put, I got a good show tonight. I got some council people, local artists. You know how Moochie do. But I got some 845 music. It's been a long time since I played that music out there in the streets.
Right out 845, that's where it's grimy. I guarantee that's how you find me. Right out 845.
We on Twitter. Go to Report Live 845. We live on Twitter. Live on Facebook and IG. We everywhere right now. I'm the muscle, so I gotta flex.
I'm that muscle, so I gotta flex.
Oh, buddy! Shout out to the No Mercy Squad. Let's go.
Catch him on the rebound, watch the body drop. Catch him on the rebound, watch
It's Friday, y'all. Y'all don't gotta tune in. I'm playing all by myself tonight.
Catch him on the rebound,
Woo!
You know me, no playing with the balls.
And I got the ponytail with the forehead going. I'm feeling good tonight. Y'all mad because my hair natural right now, Y'all thought I was bald-headed. I tricked you.
Only the real stuck with me.
Shout out to Medea.
I got cash, yeah, and now I'm living sucker free. Every day I take a swig of the best.
I need some new 845 music, so make sure you guys send me the links. I need that new music. Where's the new music? 13 Cream, I need some new music. Let's go.
I look good, never dressed to impress.
Woo, No Mercy Squad, straight out of Newburgh, New York. Catching you on the rebound, watch the body drop.
Wave gang, that's what I rap. Catch him on the rebound, watch the body drop. Catch him on the rebound, watch the body drop. Yeah, catch him on the rebound, watch the body drop. Yeah, catch him on the rebound.
I like what you're doing. Shout out to my 14-year-old DJ. She rocking the Friday. Hey. Woo. You and we don't play with the boys. Shout out to Ease the rapper. I need that new 2552 music. I need some new music. It's Friday. We is turned. Now listen. Shout out to the 845. Now I'm going to talk to the people. Y'all out there worried about H&M. I said this earlier, H&M and how they profiling their clothes. And y'all out there worried about is 6'9", is gay or not. You don't got to worry about that if you support your local artists. If you support the people you see every day, you don't got to worry about if they're pedophiles or nothing because you see them and know them. So with that being said, support your local artists because they make great music. DJ Angel, what you got back there for me? Oh, this is the DJ. Support your local artists. Who needs a 6'9"? We got 845. Who needs Donkey? All right, you go see them. But who needs those artists? We got 845. Woo, 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 damn. Hashtag 43 on the check-in. You already know. New music. I need new music. Send me new music. I need new music. Hennessy GMC.
Tell her all give me space, like I came from Pluto. Hopped in my UFO, locked the door all the window. Shorty begging me to stay.
I need new music, 845. All y'all dropping singles, drop that music. February 3rd, hosted by myself, the hottest day party of the year. First Team Cream, King Gale, we in the building, Lava Life, I Make Hits, Dolly Star, DJ Odyssey, Moochie Montana. It's a zoo. When I tell you, with the natural hair and the forehead. Let's go. Shout out to Raylan Hicks on the. I missed you. Shout out to my forehead sister. She got a big forehead. She know how what the struggle is. You see my forehead, right? It's shining, girl. It's shining. Whoa, 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 damn. DJ Angel, what do you got back there for Moochie? Oh, but you know it's Friday. All you Hennessy drinkers. Yeah, what that Hennessy got you feeling like? Talk to me nice.
That Henny got me feeling on you.
You know it's Friday. Get that Henny, y'all. Ladies, go buy your man a bottle. Hey, and tell me what you're sipping on. That Henny got me feeling on you.
That Henny got me feeling on you.
Ooh.
Tell me what you're sipping on.
Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all something. Support your local artists, because this is great music, what I got right here in the stash.
Baby, we could make a difference. Shawty, I'm good with commitments. Baby, just give me conditions. You know,
And every artist that's on the check-in, you should share this video and encourage people to tune in nightly to listen to your music as an artist. That's all I'm saying.
I just want your body, I'm just being honest. Shawty, you know I'm about it. So what you gonna do about it? Is you gonna keep it real with a nigga? Shawty, I'm digging your figure. I know that mad that I'm with you, but baby, just look at the picture. Girl, you come tell me your secrets. I won't be all in my feelings. I know that you feel me. I know that you
Talk
feel
to
me.
Heinzo World Boss, featuring Frank Biz, Hennessy. Everybody like Hennessy. Well, not me, but y'all like it. That Henny got me feeling on you. That Henny got me feeling on you.
Tell me what you're sipping on.
I encourage every artist to share this video and promote your music, because this is where it's at. Because I don't play nothing but the best local artists is around. DJ Angel, what you got back there for the people? Oh, she taking us to the Caribbeano. We in Cuba. All about the Benjamins on the boat. Wherever. Hey. Watch the footwork. Y'all don't even ready for egg origami. I found Papi Chulo. Let's go, it's Friday. I just found Papi. Sí, suavemente, bésame, mucho caliente. You know what, shout out to my 14-year-old DJ. DJ Angel, what you got back there for Moochie? It's Friday, baby. Shout out to B&O-B. You already know, we always get the plug out here. Alright, Angel, where you taking me at? Because I'm feeling you right now. Oh, you talking about that dot love? You 14, don't know about that dot love. You ain't no dot, you the good girl. You don't be playing that dot love by Flex and Uday. Shout out to the No Equal Cam. This that song though.
If they say you ain't the baddest, they rude. You the cruelest of the crew, yeah, it's true. Rated you an 8, put my 2 cents to include that you pay your own bills, got a job, go to school, and my mans know your background and he disapprove. Plus I'm in the loop, know you been with dudes, quite a few, but I'm into you. It's the rules, what I'm finna do, I got no excuse. Say I'm dumb and sad, I don't care, cause I've been a fool. Long days, so you wanna hear it, I miss you. Wanna kiss you, and I know what you been through. Know they gon' talk behind her back, not an issue. They would never say it to my face, I'm official. Know them niggas that you been with and you mentioned every time you post a picture.
We gonna talk about it.
They don't know nothing what they
Angel, get me ready for a commercial. commercial break, baby.
Now she hate land, they offensive. Who wanna be the one? Know you doing good. I ain't trying to get rich and leave you in a hood. Cause in my eyes, in my ride and die.
Sometimes you just want to go home and pick up a book and just read. Well, let me introduce you to 845's very own Thelonious Monk. He's a published author of the urban fiction book Justice, the Forever Cycle. The book Justice is a fun, exciting book that tackles real issues and real life situations that takes place right here in Middletown, New York. He also has a sequel, Warfare, as well. So go to Amazon eBooks and purchase the book for just $15, or you can visit the website www.betterbookpublishing.com. Now, since there's two books, you can purchase one book for $15 or purchase both books, Justice and Warfare, 2 for $25, using the promo code MISS845. So do me a favor, if you have any questions and or concern, or you just want to purchase these awesome books, call 845-699-2591. And do me a favor, tell them Moochie sent you.
Shout out to the 845. Shout out to all the local artists out there. First of all, you already know this is, first of all, happy Friday to everybody. You already know it's your girl, Moochie, Miss 845, Miss Get Involved, Miss Montana, the host of the hottest online radio station, reporting live 845. Straight 845 radio, building our own from the ground up. Tonight, I'm very honored to have a special guest in the building. We're going to get to our first guest in a few minutes. I just want to say, I've been saying this all day, so I'm going to keep saying it. But y'all people out there, I'm a social media hawk, and I'm a news reporter. And let me just say something. Y'all out here, y'all worried about local artists, what they are, their gender, their races, their personal businesses. You're stressing out about H&M and how they're presenting their clothing to people and things like that. And all I can say to the people is, I don't know why everybody is such in an uproar. I don't know why everybody's so upset. If you would support your locals and you would get involved in your community, certain things that we can avoid and certain things that happen, it might make us upset, but it really won't affect us. Listen, who cares if an artist is, gay, or he's in a gang and he's doing whatever? That's his personal business. You won't have to worry about that if you will support your local artists that you see every day, that you know are going to school, that you know are in the studio trying to be a better artist, that you know are in vocal classes. No, we don't want to support them. We rather support somebody that has a name on a billboard, even though they may stand for nothing. Just because your name is in lights, just because you're famous and you're making millions of dollars, doesn't mean that you stand for anything. And we as people, we don't have to, certain things we allow, but we don't have to allow it if we put our hand in and get involved. So, get involved with your local community. But shout out to you, John Mobley, what's up? Instead of you guys being so against your local artists, take the time to listen to their music. Go support your local designers. Then you don't have to worry about H&M and Michael Kors and all them and Tommy Hilfiger putting trees on their boots to rep or not wanting African Americans or minorities to wear their stuff. These are things you don't have to worry about if you don't support them and spend their money. Now, if you go support your local designer that you know has 4 or 5 kids to feed, and she's very humbled, or he's very humbled to make your clothing, and not only are they making your clothing for you, the prices are reasonable, they're making it with love, then you won't have to worry about what H&M got going on, because you don't have to worry about spending their clothes. Some of you guys are so gun-ho of having a name on your body, and that name don't care nothing about you. I ain't never seen... Mom, I'm going to talk to you because you smarter than me. But I ain't never seen in my life, Michael Jordan come to no regular person funeral. I ain't never seen him see a person with his whole collection and go to their funeral and sponsor their funeral or go help their mom get them a casket or something like that. I never see Michael Kors or Fendi come, and when you don't got no money for your rent, come pay an electric bill because you just spent a gram or dropped a whole bag on their clothing or their shoes. So we got to think logical. That's all I'm saying. So get involved with your locals. Support your locals. It don't hurt to listen to their music. Spend $1 here. Spend $1 here. Buy a gown. It ain't gonna hurt you. Go get your hair done with your locals. Go get your lashes done. Listen, shout out to all those ladies that's going to school now to do lashes and all that stuff. Support your own right here. That's all I'm saying. But we're gonna get into our special guest. Shout out to my special guest. You know, as I've been advancing in this radio station, God has been doing a little shift here. And the shift that he's been doing, because I really want to bring awareness to people. It's not just about me coming up here and playing music. We have to be aware of what's going on. And the best way to be aware is to get the people that are in position and find out what are they doing, how are they helping us, how are they bettering us, how are they standing in the gap for us, and things of that nature. So, oh wait, shout out to you, Mama Bear. John Mobley said, your name don't make you you as an artist. It's your being that your name don't make you as an artist. It's your being that make you. And artists, you treat people like us and you treat like us. I support all local artists because that's the business. At end of the day, they hitting me for beats and I keep it at a fair price. That's what I'm saying. They rather go get a Swiss beat just because Swiss Beats is on it. They'll go get a Swiss Beats beat and still have a SoundCloud quality of song, instead of working with a producer and building a relationship so that you as a producer, the artist, can grow together and move forward. Like I said, shout out to Councilman Harvey in the building. We're going to get ready for him. But we just got to talk knowledge. Listen. Things is evident and things is real. Support your locals. I'm going to say this to the day I die. Support your locals. Support your local designers. Support your local businesses. Support your local artists. Support your youth. Support your local, anything that's in your community that you see every day, that you pass every day. Support it. You have to live here. Donald Trump don't have to live right now in Middletown, New York on 15 Smith Street. Donald Trump don't got to live in Newburgh on Grand Street. Donald Trump don't got to live in Evergreen and Monticello. So why do we care about what's going on there? Listen, not for nothing. We can't change nothing in Haiti. We can't change nothing. We can't even change nothing in New York City in the 5 boroughs until we start right here in our own community. That's the only way it's going to work. So, she said, you never know, I could be better than Swiss. That's what I'm saying. Support your locals. Listen, like I said, we just sat here and listened to some great music. I see people, blogs going crazy over 6ix9ine. Oh my, and I keep just saying him because they're going crazy over him. Oh, he might be gay. Oh, he was blood. Oh, he was Crip. Oh, he's a pedophile. You wouldn't have to worry about that if you were supporting your locals. I bet you Uday from No Equal ain't no pedophile. I bet you Unique Prophet from Monticello ain't no pedophile. I bet you a lot of these artists is out here. I bet you Balenciaga Bigger ain't no pedophile, and he ain't throwing up no gang signs and no trying to lead your kids no other way. But y'all don't want to listen. Y'all don't hear me though. But we don't hear me though. But I'm gonna keep pushing 845 and unity and support within our camp. So shout out to them. Before we get into our guests, he's still here. Before we get into our guests, there's a couple rundowns. Don't forget, this Sunday, shout out to Black Vanilla. They are having a live performances by Jasmine Parker and Ralph Williams. Well, I say Ralph Lauren. Ralph Williams, so make sure if you're in the building, come out and support Black Vanilla. I love them. I'm going to do a commercial for them. I do a little jingle for Black Vanilla. I like them. Also, shout out to Angela Shapiro Furniture. Shop local, shop wise, shop Shapiro Furniture. You get your best furniture from there. Also, shout out to Bel Air Black Label. Shop for the culture. Shout out to Dominique on the check-in. What up, Damo? Long time no see. How you doing? All right, so we're going to get ready for Councilman Harvey. He's a man of many, many, many hats. DJ, give me a commercial. Let's get ready for the councilman, y'all. Shout out to my intern. She usually be ready. Oh, I didn't give you the key, right? All right. Well, give me whatever you get first, a song or commercial. You hit it? Hit it.
Struggling to find a place of worship? Are you constantly church hopping? Are you looking for authentic leadership, a place where you can grow, but most importantly, a place full of love? Do yourself a favor. Please go visit One Accord Christian Church. They are located on 2 Little Britain Road in Newburgh, New York. Services.
Shout out to my intern. She knows exactly what to play. Amen.
A.M. Sunday worship starts at 11:30 a.m. Bible studies are every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So come on down and join us at One Accord Christian Church with the great Bishop Robert Bolton as we fellowship together, as we love one another, as we sit under great teaching. But I guarantee you, if you come to One Accord Christian Church, you'll understand why this is the church where love resides. See you then.
Shout out to One Accord Christian Church. I love that song. Ooh, I like the front of this. We're going to talk about that real quick. Shout out, listen, you guys. I am so honored to have this. Let me tell you something. I have been blessed to have some prestige people on this show in less than a month. So 2018 is looking really, really good. Just not even for my show, just for the community. But I have a very special guest in the building today. He's going to tell you who he is, but he is definitely a leader. He's a man of morals, a man of integrity. And not for nothing, doing my research, he's a man of his word, which is most important, especially being a politician, among the other hats that he wears. So I call him Councilman, but he's going to talk to Councilman Harvey. Talk to the people. Tell them who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, shout out to Moochie, 845 Radio,
Thank you, sir.
The whole 845 community. I go by the name of Councilman Harvey, a.k.a. T. Harvey. T. Harv, Torrance Harvey, whatever. Mr. Harvey,
Okay.
like you said, different hats as an educator for 20 years at NEWBURGH Free Academy, teaching world history and American history, government, economics. So that's my day-to-day job for 20 years. In 2015, I campaigned for city councilman at large for the whole entire city of NEWBURGH, and currently serving 4-year term for the city council at large, so in NEWBURGH, New York. So yeah, different hats, different.
Wait a minute, because you got a couple more hats behind that.
Yeah,
hat.
yeah.
You know, he got like a little umbrella. But let's start at the beginning, because you are in the education system. First of all, what made you particularly go in that field?
Well, growing up, I was born and raised in Poughkeepsie, New York. And my family moved to NEWBURGH in 1991. And I was a 19-year-old teenager. I have a twin brother, an identical twin
I was
brother.
going to ask you that. I seen the picture. I didn't know if it was a Photoshop or what that was real. Okay,
Yeah,
so you are a
very
twin.
real. Yeah, I'm Torrance Harvey. He's Torrino Harvey. When we were in middle school and high school in Poughkeepsie, everybody in the 845, it was 914 back then in the 80s. You know, I was born in the 70s, made in the 80s, and was raised in the 90s.
You got a little love story. Hey, you got a love story.
So, my twin brother and I did TV commercials and things like that when we were like 12 years old. We got into the Screen Actors Guild. I did an ABC After School special when I was just getting ready to go to college for Oprah Winfrey. It was an ABC After School special called Girlfriend. We were in the music business, the theater, I mean, all that stuff. New York City, off-Broadway plays. We had an agent when we were young, being identical twins. So we were touring. We did this big show called Club MTV back in the days in the late 80s, early 90s with Downtown Julie Brown. And that was before the internet. So we were known as TNT, the TNT Twins. And like I said, we had joined the Screen Actors Guild, TV commercials, ABC After School special, was doing a lot of different things. And then my parents split up, you know, and we were homeless for 6 months. Yeah, so in the early 90s. So when we went through that transition, we moved to NEWBURGH because there was a pastor in the city of NEWBURGH by the name of Saul Williams. Reverend Saul Williams was doing a wedding at a restaurant where my twin brother and I were working for his daughter. They were planning a wedding at that time it was the Holiday Inn in Fishkill, and they were going to do their wedding reception, his oldest daughter's wedding reception in the Holiday. And we met them. You know, he was a prestigious black man. You know, and we actually was part of his you know the setup and the planning of his daughter's reception, and we were waiters. And so in between film jobs, and no one knew at that time we were homeless, sleeping in a van for 6 months. So somehow the pastor asked us where were we going to school. He recognized us from MTV. Right. He said that his kids knew me and all that. And so we were like, we're not in school. And then we got to know, he started inviting us to the church in NEWBURGH, Baptist Temple Church on William Street. And we started attending. And then eventually, as we kind of got to know the pastor, some of the deacons, we let them know we were homeless.
Now, 6 months of being homeless.
Yeah.
I have to ask you this question. How do you guys be in that place and not completely just be subjected to the streets? How do you guys not be on drugs? How do you not, go through the extremes to survive? How did you guys maintain?
Well, my twin brother, he's number 7, I'm number 8. My mother had 8 children.
Bless her. All day.
Okay. So the older brothers and sisters went through all that.
Right.
On drugs, selling drugs, in and out of prison. And we, my twin brother and I, we used to see my mother weep at night over that.
Right.
So we were like, we're not even going to touch that. Like, we knew growing up when we were like 5 years old, we'd say, Mom, what are you crying for? Well, and she would be like, oh, she would name our older siblings. They're in prison again, or they strung out. We gotta go to get them to rehab, and get that methadone and all that. So we were like, yo, that's real.
Right.
We grew up in Charles Street Projects in Poughkeepsie. My dad had grocery stores and hot dog trucks, so he was a hustler, like, making money, like legal money. You know what I'm saying?
But a hustle status.
A hustle status,
Right.
Always grinding, diversifying his income on legal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, we grew up under his tutelage as an entrepreneur in Poughkeepsie, and everybody knew him as Chili Willie. The Chili Willie stores, the Chili Willie kids, everything was lovely. And then, like I said, in the early 90s, my mom and dad, after like 25 or 28 years, decided to go separate ways. And when we fell to homelessness, we still had jobs, we still had money. It's just that we couldn't pay the mortgage or the, where we were living at the time. And so then, because by then we were in Fishkill, we were living in Fishkill in the house by then. And so my mom and my sisters and the little nieces and nephews went to my grandmother's house, but there was not enough room for us, my twin brother and I. And then our older siblings weren't taking us in. My oldest brother was like, nah, I got a family, we can't do that. So we're like, yo, we just need somewhere to stay till we get a place, da-da-da. Like, nah, so it took 6 months. We slept in the van.
Just you and your brother?
Just me and my brother. Turn the van on, turn the van off. Turn the van on, turn it off to get the heat up through the night. We turn the van on, turn it off. And that's when reality hit. It was like, yo, every turn is really going to be my turn. That's when I started becoming a man. And we were still going to work. No one knew. We met the pastor. He invited us. Then once he found out, we had a meeting with my mom and the two of us. And we had to put our money together. We got a condominium off of Washington Place.
So y'all jumped from being homeless to get a condo.
Oh yeah, because we were stacking money. We was serious. We were like, yo, once we come back from this, we ain't never going back to this again in life.
And you put it in the air. You spoke it in existence.
And we lived in a brand new condominium off of the right behind the NEWBURGH police station. Condos are still there, overlooking the waterfront. And now we didn't have no furniture. We had bath towels and pillows, and we slept on a carpet, a brand new carpet.
You had a roof.
We had a roof, heat, and hot water.
That's the most important. I don't know.
2 bathrooms. So we were like, yo, now we're going to build from here. So from there, the pastor said, we got to get y'all boys in somebody's college. I said, well, my guidance counselor told me I wasn't college material. He said, take out a piece of paper and write down this book list. Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of the Negro. Eldridge Cleaver, Soul on Ice. The autobiography of Malcolm X. Autobiography of Frederick Douglass. He gave me a book list. And gave my brother the same book list. We read every one of them books cover to cover. And in that time period, we started applying to colleges.
Now, let me ask you this question before you continue. You and your brother, you guys really have twins. Is that twin syndrome thing real? Like, you guys really do everything together?
Well, we used to. We're 46 years old. We're something years old now. I got a wife and 3 kids. He got a daughter, So, but yeah, like if he's in pain, if he's going through something, I feel it, and I have to call him. So we never really live more than a few miles apart all our lives. And we grew up very, very close.
And still to this day?
Still to this day.
Same thing. Are you guys the closest? I'm sure this answer is going to be yes, than all of your other siblings?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
So you raised, you were, in a nice environment. You had this situation where it was a trial period, but a learning period for you guys.
Yeah.
You guys crossed over, you went to school, and then you've been in education for 20 years.
20 years. We went to Mount St. Mary College for 2 years. We always had our eyes set on the historically black college experience, because you got to realize we grew up during the Spike Lee School Days era, the Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show era, the different world era, right? So we always like, yo, we want to go to the HBCU down south, you know. You know, we heard about the Freaknik, we heard about Howard Homecoming, we heard about this, that, the fraternities, Alpha Phi Alpha, shout out to my frat.
You a fraternity too?
Yeah, Alpha A Phi A.
Oh, I'm about to say, because you were throwing up gang signs. I was about to say, Councilman, you are from Newburgh. Please don't throw nothing up here.
Nah. A Phi A 19006.
I'm about to say, because he live in Newburgh, Lady Harvey, and I don't want no issue when I go back and throwing up what he throwing up.
Nah. It's A Phi A Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
That's dope.
So so we eventually got down to Morehouse after 2 years at Mount St. Mary College in the HEOP program, which was a higher education opportunity program. That's where I met my lovely wife, Tina Rodriguez Harvey.
Shout out to Miss Tina. She's beautiful too.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So she and I met. You know, she couldn't stand me freshman year, but that's another story. She got the Lord. You know, we became friends. But we met at Mount St. Mary College. My wife, myself, and my twin brother were in a very special program. I always educate young people, especially in the black community, about EOP, which is in the state universities of New York. EOP is the Education Opportunity Program, and the private schools in New York is the HEOP program, and that's the Higher Education Opportunity Program. When we went into that program, the pastor introduced us, Saul Williams and Larry D. Lindsay. They both was our mentor. He was a deacon, and they introduced us to the HEOP program. They paid for our books. They paid for our tuition, our food. They gave us a monthly stipend, $65 a month. We had to make that stretch, do our laundry and all that. And then they also took care of us, like, for the first, in the summer before freshman year, you had to do a 6 weeks intensive, you know, summer program where you learn, if you were deficient in reading, writing, mathematics, whatever, they were trying to get you up to speed between high school and college. So when you step on campus in September, your reading, your writing, you know, reading comprehension, your writing skills, and your mathematics skills were right for college freshman courses. So we did 6 weeks in the summer program. We got into the freshman year. I hit National Dean's List every semester for 2 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, coming out of homelessness.
Coming out the struggle.
Yeah, and so after that, we had, like you said, we had our eyes on going to Morehouse College and or HBCU. And so we applied at the end of my sophomore year. My brother got in before I did, even though my GPA was higher than his. Don't tell him that. But
we're gonna talk about it since you said it. But look at the numbers. Don't lie. What was your numbers?
I had a 3.6 GPA.
What he had?
He had like a 3.2.
Oh yeah, how'd that happen?
And so I don't know, he got accepted to Morehouse before I did. And I was like, yo, what's going on? He was like, yo, see, it's not all about the grades. It's about your activity and your leadership. Yo, my brother was throwing it in.
Now, who's older, you or him?
My brother.
3 minutes.
3 minutes older.
Does he act older than you for real?
Nah, I act like the older one, but he'll debate me all day on that. But I'll act like I was a father before he was and all this. But anyway, he tries to pull that older thing. I said, yo, scientifically, you're the firstborn, but I'm the first conceived. You know what I'm saying? Firstborn is the last conceived. And so I tell, he don't like that debate. Then we get into the scientific elements of being twins, fraternal, identical. It gets real crazy because we're very competitive with each other.
You are?
Yeah.
That's not. So how you guys stay so close and you're so competitive?
Because we know when to take space.
Okay.
Take a pause.
Okay.
And then we know how to come back, because anytime we come back together, if I haven't seen him in a week or 2 weeks or a month or 6 months, never 6 months, but like a month, all it takes is a phone call. Yo, what's good? Yo, what up? He's like, my mother has a nickname that she used to call me when he was young, call him Gurn. He's like, what's up, Gurn? When I say what's up, Gurn, he know, you know what I'm saying? He be like, yo, T-Har, what's up?
Then we know everything is squashed.
Everything is squashed. Any tension we ever had, we start from day one like we were 4 years old, or 2 years old. Like, yo, what's up?
Shout out to sibling love. Definitely. Shout out to the sibling love.
I mean, we shared a womb together for 9 months, right? You know what I'm saying? That's real. That symbiotic relationship is serious. So You know, but yeah, so, you know, we both got into Morehouse. Ironically, we were always $3,500 short in the tuition, because now when we got to Morehouse, everybody was black. So it wasn't like you got scholarships because you were a minority or anything like that, or you were like HLP pro. So we were short $3,500. We had to sleep in a van for 3 weeks before they gave us a dorm room key. So it was like God was preparing us for this, you know. So the 6 months in the van in the winter in New York was
prepared you for
the 3 weeks in Atlanta,
which was just a little hurdle.
Was nothing. We did that with our eyes closed. We were like, oh, we got this. So we had a rent van that we packed up and took a leap of faith because we were short. Where now we had stayed at Mount St. Mary College, everything was paid for 4 years.
Right.
But we're like, nah, we want more.
Of course.
Come on, this is the school where Martin Luther King Jr. graduated, class of 1948. Lerone Bennett, historian for Ebony Magazine. Maynard Jackson, who was the first black mayor of Atlanta. You know, I mean, the list just goes on and on. Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee. You know, these are, you know, this is the college where African American men of leadership graduated from. We're like, we're not turning that down. We got accepted. We got our acceptance letters. We ready for that.
Did you guys graduate from Morehouse?
We did, 1997.
So let me ask you this question.
Sure.
How do you feel knowing that you were in the same school as Martin Luther King Jr., as Samuel L. Jackson, and you graduated?
Oh my God, man. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Because when you walk through the halls of Morehouse College, you feel their presence. You're sitting in some of the same classrooms that Martin Luther King Jr. sat in.
Right.
You're sitting in Sale Hall, where he had, you know, his Thursday morning, you know, what we call Crown Forum.
Right.
Every Thursday morning, all Morehouse men have to go to Crown Forum. It's required. And there's some guest speaker or some sort of lecture. They might shut the doors, and the older brothers, the seniors, might come in and just school us on black history or something, you know, or African history and the African diaspora. Something's going on every Thursday at Morehouse College in our Crown Forum. It was mandatory. It was mandatory, especially for freshmen. So when we got there, we're sitting in Sale Hall and King Chapel and all this, and we're going through the classes, and some of the professors that King had were still there. You know, Dr. Janetta B. Lutton, who was a Yale University graduate, white woman from Yale University, Phi Beta Kappa scholar. She was hired by Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, who was the president at the time when Martin King was in school. He was Dr. Martin Luther King's mentor. They call him Buck Benny. Benny Mays was there. He recruited Dr. Janetta Lutton right out of graduate school from Yale University. And she was one of Martin's professors, and she was there. Now, she started in 1940, which was 4 years before Martin got to campus as a 15-year-old. Okay?
15 years old.
Yeah, well, 14 going on 15 because he was in the early admissions program from 1944. You had World War II going on. So college enrollment all across the country, especially in the black colleges, were low. So they started taking high school students that, you know, that could prove that they could handle college level work.
Right.
They started taking them in the 1940s because a lot of boys, by the time they got out of high school, they were off to the war, drafted, going to the draft. So to sort of help that, so King gets in to Morehouse in 1944 as a 14-year-old going on 15-year-old. And, you know, he finishes in 4 years, and he graduates in 1948. So Dr. Janetta Lutton, who was my English literature professor, who was a Phi Beta Kappa scholar from Yale, she was there. She was there 4 years before King got there. Then you had Dr. McBay. Dr. McBay was a biology teacher that I had. He's passed on, but he was one of the only African-American scientists working on the Manhattan Project for the first atomic bomb.
Oh, wow.
He was one of our professors. So, I mean, when you start hearing stories like that, and you're like talking to real live black people that taught Dr. King and that taught, you know, Maynard Jackson or Spike Lee, they're like, we don't know him as Spike Lee, we know him as Shelton Lee.
Right.
You know, his father was also a Morehouse grad who sang in the Glee Club where my brother and I had Glee Club scholarships. So Spike Lee's father was a Morehouse grad.
Oh, wow.
People don't know that.
No,
His name was Bill Lee. Bill Lee was a well-accomplished, still is a world-renowned accomplished jazz musician. Right. Spike Lee's father, Bill Lee.
Now, I got to ask this because listening to you and your journey in school and things like that, and in the education world, you've been around for a little bit, so the times have changed.
Yes.
Drastically.
Absolutely.
I have to ask this question. You've been doing, education in school for 20 years, but then something happened that you decided to get into this politician world. First question I have to ask you is, growing up as an African-American man, from when you were born, how have you been affected about what's going on around us?
Man, there's a poem that I wrote. It's in that book that you have in your lap called What a Glare. And it goes like this. It says, the moon twinkles with a glare. It shines in dark nights that represent life and it not being fair. The moon sits still as motion surround, as the black man has a spirit in the midst of it that screams from injustices that seem to be non-existing in sound. Why does the moon twinkle with that glare as a black man lives a life full of great fear and despair no one but him and other black men can hear? Shine, moon, shine, exists with a hopeful stare instead of your empty glare. And that poem I wrote, which answers your question. When you walk in the shoes as an African-American man, from childhood up until adulthood, it's different, man. It's the most different and can be the most challenging experience that anyone and it's not to minimize other people's walk in life, whether it's our black sisters, our African-American queens, or Hispanic queens, or whatever, but it's kind of like, people fear you for no reason. You walk into elevators and the old lady clutches her pocketbook a little tighter. If you're not dressed a certain way, you go into a mall. People take forever to ask you, can they help you? When you go into a car dealership, nobody's going to approach you for 30 minutes.
Talk about it, Councilman.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then that's just dealing with surface level stuff. When you're a consumer trying to spend your money, people act like you don't got the money. My wife and I went to Spain 2 summers ago, and I saw a pair of red Italian shoes in the window. I said, babe, I got to get those shoes. We walk into the shoe store in Barcelona, Spain. And, yo hablo español también un poquito, pero yo necesito aprenderlo más porque mi esposa es puertorriqueña.
Sí.
You see what I'm saying? My wife is Puerto Rican, so I had to learn the language.
Wepa, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, tú así, wepa, suavemente, bésame.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Claro que sí. So I go into the store and I'm asking the lady, ¿cuánto cuesta para los zapatos de rojo en la ventana? How much are the red shoes in the window? She acted like I couldn't pay for them. So it got into this whole thing where my wife was like speaking to her, both of us speaking to her in Spanish, telling her we're from Los Estados Unidos, which is United States, from New York. And then my wife is like, babe, we're not getting nothing in here. Let's go. I said, nah, you got to understand, as a black man, I could walk away and not buy those shoes, but I'm going to show her that I got that and then some. I'm buying the shoes,
Well, let me just say this. Lady Harvey, don't you ever say nothing like that in your life. If he said he gonna buy your shoes, you gonna take your shoes under... Oh, they were for her?
They were for me.
Oh, okay.
They were red.
Scratch that.
Yeah. They were red, male leather red shoes, you know what I'm saying?
Nice.
They were the Italian soft, that soft leather.
Walking on air.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, yo, I got to bring those back to the States.
How did she look when you bought it?
When she bought it, she was like, shocked. I pulled out the BMW Visa Platinum, like, bam. Like,
stop it,
let
man.
me get those.
Right.
300 euros, no problem. Bam. And I'm not trying to say, I'm not bragging, but I'm like, the fact that she insulted me in a way
because of your skin color.
Because of my skin color in Spain, like I couldn't afford these shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm like, wow, so it's not just in the United States.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. When you got melanin in your skin, people act funny. Like, come on, I'm like, it don't even really have to be like that. We all human with human blood and human veins, and we all got a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things about race and ethnicity and economics, you don't choose your parents. You don't choose what color you are. You don't choose your hair texture, your height, your weight, whatever. You don't choose any of those things that you may be predisposed to. This is life. You get your cards that you're dealt, and you play your game to win.
Well, you must be a winner because you took a leap of faith and you jumped in the politician world.
Yes. Oh, and to get back, got into teaching after the filming. SAG in 99, 2000 went on a commercial strike. Started substituting. I was like a fish in water. The way the kids received me, all the kids, but particularly in NEWBURGH, the black and Hispanic kids gravitated toward me. Found that opportunity, went back to grad school, got my teaching certification, and then after 17, 18 years of teaching, someone approached me and said, Mr. Harvey, you're well known in the community. The kids, young people love you. A lot of people respect you. You've done a lot of great work with the step and dance team at NFA. You've taken them all over. You're a history teacher, so government, how government structured and functions. And they said, would you consider running for public office at the city council? And I said, well, let me talk to my wife, talk to my family, because I already know politics. When you get into politics,
it's a danger. That's like politics is like a gang.
Oh,
that's the worst gang.
Everybody want to know your first grade teacher. How'd you meet your wife? What are your kids' middle names? It's like you really put yourself out there in public service, and it's a thankless job. You do something great, nobody says nothing.
You mess up one time.
Oh man, it's on the front cover of the page.
Every time.
You're being quoted on the radio.
Every time.
It's like, and it's serious, and that people don't realize, and then people say things that they don't really know about. Like they start talking about, 12 firemen are getting laid off in August or whatever. But you don't know that those 12 firemen were on a federal grant.
Right.
They were hired on a federal grant. That federal grant expired. We had to reapply for it, and they got it a second time. And so now that federal grant is getting ready to expire again, it's not that they're going to be laid off. They were never, people are like, oh, you guys don't know how to appropriate funds. There's corruption in the NEWBURGH government. All the council need to be fired. First of all, the council don't hire and fire. Because we're elected officials.
You know what? That's the thing. We go slow down because when you stay with the people, people got questions for the councilman. So first of all, start here, councilman. What exactly is your job on the bench?
All right. So as a council person, we legislate. We're the legislative branch of the city government. Just like at the federal level, you have 3 branches of government. You got the executive branch, you got the legislative branch, and you got the judicial branch. So even in the Constitution, Article 1 establishes the legislative branch in our federal government. Article 2 of the Constitution establishes the executive branch. Article 3 establishes the judicial branch, system of checks and balances. We have that same structure in our city government and at the state government. Now, the city government, you got the executive branch, which is your manager, your city manager, because we have a city manager system. He is the CEO of the city. He's the one that hires all the department heads, DPW, superintendent, the police chief, the fire chief. All the department heads in the city government are under the executive branch with the city manager. Now, the city manager serves at the will of the city council, meaning that he answers to us as a collective body. But he's the one that manages the budget. He proposes the budget to us, and we have to see the budget and vote on the budget, and stuff like that. But it's his budget. We can make suggestions to the budget. We can, ask him to add this in the budget and add that. But ultimately, it's the city manager's budget. Now, the difference between the city of NEWBURGH and New York City, New York City got 5 boroughs. You're talking like out of, let's say, 16 million people in the state of New York, 8 million or 9 million live in the 5 boroughs.
Right, right.
So their city mayor is like a governor. So the mayor in New York City he's in charge of all those department heads. All right. Now, in our city, our mayor is a ceremonial mayor. The only 2 things our mayor does is chair the council meeting and perform weddings and ceremonies.
That's it.
That's it. The mayor in the city of Newburgh is a vote on the city council. So there's 6 council members and the mayor. She's the 7th vote.
Okay.
Okay. So that's all the mayor does. The mayor gets paid the same amount of money as council members. It's only $9,000. It's public knowledge.
Right.
We get $9,000 a year. It's not a full-time job.
Right.
It's a part-time job.
Right.
So the city manager is the one that is there day to day. He's
making all the decisions.
Making decisions, and some of those decisions have to get approved by us.
Now,
so that's checks and balances.
Now, particularly, you've been on this particular bench for 4 years.
Well, I'm elected for 4 years, but I'm in my 2nd year, going on my 3rd.
3rd year.
Yeah.
Now, what have you? Okay, so people want to know, since in your 3rd year accomplishment-wise, what can you strongly say that you have done as a councilman for Newburgh?
Okay, so the first year I got on the council, I made sure that the roads got repaid.
Okay.
And then the 2nd year, which was this past year, we couldn't, they wouldn't repave the road. So I went to war with the DPW superintendent and the city manager because they didn't do no repavement this spring and this summer.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things that people, and I campaigned on that. They would fill up the potholes and then like a storm or weather or snow or something, take out that, whatever they filled it up with. And then we got this crater in the middle of Broadway or the crater on Grant. So one of the things, a major accomplishment was getting roads repaved when I first got on the council.
Okay.
Now we got a 5-year road repavement plan. The second thing that I did was I initiated the comprehensive video surveillance program.
Since the young man was accidentally, okay.
Yeah, so we had a whole list of murders, and unfortunately, I don't think that they had solved the murder before I got on the council in probably like 40 or 50 years. Like, no one was being brought to justice.
Right.
And so what happened was crime was high when I first got elected. Now crime is down. And I'm not saying I'm the only reason why. Because our men in uniform work very hard. They put their lives on the line every day. And I take my hat off to our police department. We don't have a police chief at this point in time. We haven't had one for a long time. So we've had acting police chiefs, but we don't have a full-time. So we're in the process of doing that. So what happened was I was watching Crime Stoppers on Channel 4 in the morning and on Channel 4 News. And so what happened was a lot of people in New York City were being brought to justice with these cameras in convenience stores, people robbing stores, people doing all crazy, even if you like run a red light, they got cameras
for that
on traffic lights in New York City.
Talk about it.
So I said, we don't got to reinvent the wheel. If we do a comprehensive video surveillance program, what we're going to do is, because when I would go to the police department, particularly the acting police chief, and ask them, how come no one's being brought to justice for this murder or that murder or this murder or this murder? And they were like, because, no one wants to talk, no one wants to come forward and tell the police what they know. Snitches get stitches.
The street code.
So there was like the street code. And so I'm like, yo, all right, well, and what it does is, it creates a very tense environment in your community.
It does.
When people don't come forward. And I'm not saying be a snitch. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you got this mother and this grandmother crying because their baby was murdered and nobody's saying nothing, now what you're doing is the police department, they're off the hook. They don't have to do their job in a sense because now they don't have to. I mean, they're going to investigate, but they got nothing. These are cold cases.
Stacking them up.
So you're like, so you got all these black people killing black people. And it's mostly men, because I don't see females in the hood with guns shooting at each other.
Going crazy like that.
It's the dudes, the young black males killing other young black males. And as a black male myself, I'm like, we got to do something to stop this.
Absolutely.
And so when I asked for an analysis of the video cameras in the city, we own like 21 cameras and only like 6 of them worked. And the 6 of them that worked was like
blurry, not
like
even working.
Analog, old ones. You couldn't move them. So I made a proposal that we appropriate some funds. I think we got something like 83 cameras functional.
And you can see.
They're digital. You can move them. They got all kind of mobile ability where you can sort of do aerial movement and you can see, and then some of the brothers in the hood was like, yo, Harv, you trying to send more black men to prison?
That was my next question.
Yeah, I'm like, nah. They were like, the prison pipeline. Of course I teach history. This is what I do. I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to send more black men to prison. I'm saying stop. We killing each other.
Right.
And then furthermore, I got these mothers, these single parent mothers and grandmothers weeping over their kids being murdered and these cold cases not being solved. And so, folks is riding in, making their money and their salary on our law enforcement, but then they're not solving these cases.
They're not doing their
It's
job.
basically like, yeah, and it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like if nobody's coming forward with information, we can't do our jobs. Therefore, cases aren't being solved. Nobody's being brought to justice. And what happens is people start, it's like you living in the wild, wild west.
That's a fact.
It's like vigilant, like people's taking up their own arms for safety and protection. And then it's just like, and at the end of the day, black men are killing black men, and that's crazy. So I told the brothers that approached me, brothers in the hood, some of them are my former students.
Right.
I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to get more black men in prison. I'm telling y'all to stop. Put down the guns. Let's talk. Let's work through our issues. Stop whatever criminal activity is going on, because we letting you know these cameras is
here. We see you
live. Pause.
So don't be out there talk about homies snitching, sending kites, trying to get somebody beat up. We see you
on camera. So now there's accountability in the police department.
There's
accountability in the hood. Like dudes ain't just doing stuff crazy
recklessly no more without the
right. And babies getting hurt and this and that. There was.
I respect that for you.
Yeah, there was a Halloween party. Tabitha Cruz and Omani Free.
Yes, horrible.
You know what I'm saying?
Horrible.
And they wasn't even, they were just at a Halloween event.
Enjoying the,
So when stuff like that is wild and popping off, you're like, oh my God. So now here's the economic element of it. When you got a city like Newburgh with a lot of crime, a lot of murders, unsolved cases, cold cases, whatever.
Right.
Businesses start leaving the community. Now when the businesses start leaving, the money's leaving, and the jobs are leaving,
and the value's going.
And then the value. So that's when you start seeing people losing their homes, people, getting on drugs, people selling drugs more. Everything's like it's almost like it's like, I don't know, the night of the Walking Dead. It's like you see these zombie buildings, these broken up, boarded up buildings. And it becomes an environment that's really toxic, and families don't want to live there. They want to move out. Businesses are moving out. And then what happens to the economic system in that city, in that community, is not thriving. And then, people like, what businesses want to be in a drug-infested murder capital? The businesses are leaving. Now, once you get the crime down, because that's the nucleus of the challenge. Once you get the crime down, people put their guns down, people getting more involved with the community, you start to see businesses popping up.
Right.
Now you got jobs.
Right.
Now the economy's turning around for the positive. Now you start seeing people coming up from that, because this is what's happening. That's what we call the revitalization of Newburgh. So now you see.
Pause real quick, because I have a question that I remember in an email about that. People are saying, and when I asked that question to you, Councilman, is, Newburgh is known, maybe one of the most prestige towns or cities, because of its diversity in minority businesses. You have a lot of minority businesses. But so the question that I proposed to me is, Councilman, it looks like that Newburgh is trying to drive out the businesses of small African American businesses and minority businesses, and put in things that are not of Newburgh. That it looks more, how do you say it? Commercial. It doesn't look like what is branded or known for.
Right. So you're gonna and you know, sociology call that gentrification.
Okay.
You're going to see the community become gentrified, right? Which means you're going to get people from other ethnic groups coming back to Newburgh, which is going to increase the diversity, by the way. So now, all right, for instance, when you look at the demographics of Newburgh, 53% of our residents are Hispanic.
Okay.
39% of our community are black. All right? And somewhere in the neighborhood of 17% are white. Now, the white community and the other, like the Asian Pacific community and other people start coming into our community, and you start to see those numbers change.
Right.
So now you're getting real true diversity. Yes, you are going to see white families moving back to our community. You're going to see folks from the white community and the Asian community or whatever coming into our community with businesses, and that's what we want.
Right.
We want diversity. It's not that you're changing the look of Newburgh in its original form. Change is good. Now, there are positives and negatives to gentrification. Gentrification is not all bad.
Right.
Because like I said, now if crime is down, businesses are coming back, new homeowners are coming up.
Back.
They're coming from Long Island, New York City, Brooklyn. I got a dude that's contacting me. He's been big time in the entertainment business and all this stuff. He's from Brooklyn, and he's like, yo, we coming up there, Harv, to look at some properties. We want to buy properties. And I may even want to move into the city of Newburgh because it's so close to New York City.
Right.
So look at Harlem and look at Brooklyn. You're going to have change in the way the demographics are, and you're going to see a different complexion in your community.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. Because, listen, go to Harlem. Look at all every major corporation, and especially in the retail business. Is on 125th Street.
You're right.
On Flatbush Avenue.
You're right.
Now, let me tell you, when they built that Barclays Center in Brooklyn, you know how many people got jobs?
You're right
in that arena?
You're right.
From our community. So, you know, we got to understand that when we get gentrified and we start to see other ethnic groups and change of complexion in our community, that's not all bad. Right. Because now we're bringing more economic stimuli to the city of Newburgh, and that's what we need.
Shout out to Councilman Harvey. He know all. That's why he's councilman. That's why they didn't ask me, because I couldn't get no good answers. You get what you get, and that's it. But shout out to Councilman Harvey. Now, but before we get into your next hat, Councilman Harvey, going into your third year, what is it that you plan on? What is your expectancy? What is your goal on the seat that, going into? What do you see? What's your vision?
My vision, man, is to somehow figure out, and I met with Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney.
Shout out to, I love him.
He's dope. He's dope.
And he's a Republican?
No, he's Democrat.
He's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat.
I love him.
Yeah.
He's I love him.
He's one of the minority Democrats in the House of Representatives at the federal level. And we have, because, the Republicans majority in the House of Rep and the Republicans are majority in the Senate. And you got a Republican president.
Yes.
We're not going to mention that.
Yeah.
But no, so Sean Patrick Maloney and his aides and I have met on a number of occasions. What I really would love to see, and this is not going to happen overnight, but if we can get mass transit to New York City from Newburgh, you're going to see a big economic boom in the city of Newburgh, because we have a train line on our side, but it's for cargo train, which is shipment up and down the Hudson. And they won't put passenger train line like a Metro North on the same line as cargo.
Right.
If you remember this past summer, there was a derailment in Newburgh.
Absolutely. And
so that's part of why when you talk about safety and regulations and stuff like that. So the congressman and I had a conversation about there's an idea to create some sort of air tran from Stewart Airport down Broadway through the city of Newburgh and connecting it to the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, where people can have transportation to the Metro North and Beacon. And or creating a spur, because there's a Metro North line in Salisbury Mills, right out of Washingtonville, that goes to New Jersey on this side of the Hudson, which is the west side of the Hudson.
West, okay.
Yeah, so that's one of my goals, is to try to start figuring out and creating that mass transit to from Newburgh to New York City.
That's not a bad idea at all.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what, Councilman? I'm gonna vote for you again.
Thank you.
I'm not in Newburgh, but I'm gonna register somebody's address and vote for you. Legally or illegally, you won't be in there again. But shout out to you, Councilman. Before we even get to the next thing, I just gotta ask you this last question. And I know you're gonna walk this really lightly. But it's okay. I just want to know, with your president, with the federal law tax, with the words that's coming out, with the change, as you even got Governor Como at this point getting trying to mess with the taxes and things like that. What's your stance right now on America, period, as a councilman with your fellow brothers and sisters in their positions?
Well, what I would say is stay woke. Stay woke. And what people don't realize is that I had the vision 20 years ago that I wanted to learn the system in which we live in. When we say the system, I mean the government system, where we're talking about the local, state, and federal level. You can never learn too much about how the system is organized, how it functions, and how you can engage and participate with that system, which is the government.
Right.
The city, state, or federal government. So stay woke, meaning that, understand how it functions. Understand how you can engage with that federal government and that state government and the local government. That's why I went into teaching global history and American history and government and economics. I went into teaching social studies almost 20 years ago.
Which is one of my favorite subjects. I love social studies.
Yeah. Learning more about culture, how we, when you look at the DACA, which is going to expire, the DACA law is going to expire in March. They got this heavy debate on the federal government getting ready to shut down the budget.
Yes.
They got less than 8 hours to come up with a law so that the government doesn't shut down. My wife and I was talking about this. If the federal government shuts down because they can't create a spending bill, which becomes law, anybody working for the federal government in what they call non-essential jobs, they're on furlough. Now what's essential, what's non-essential? So essential jobs like the military, FBI, the Congress, of course, they're going to be essential. The postal workers, because you gotta keep the mail going. Yeah, so those people won't be laid off. But people who are maybe secretaries in these non-essential federal jobs. Now, like the prison COs, they're not, federal prison COs, they're essential.
Right.
You can't shut down the prison.
Right.
So the point is understanding what these things mean and how they're happening and why they're happening. As far as the tax code, put yourself in a position where it's a win-win for you.
Yes.
So, no, I'll be honest with you. I did not support Donald Trump for president. Okay? When he got elected into office, even though he lost the popular vote, but he won the electoral vote, which is a direct election to the presidency, and that's in my curriculum. Alexander Hamilton said at the Constitutional Convention that the populace was ignorant, that we, the people, could not have a direct vote for the White House or for the presidency because we, as a mass American people, did not know about the government, how it's structured, and how it functions enough for the government to trust the people to have a direct vote to the presidency.
Right.
That's why there's an electoral college system.
Right.
That's why, there's electoral college map. And
so, Councilman, can we keep it real? Can we keep it real one time?
Yeah.
Does the local vote really matter? Because we hear people say, vote, go out there and vote, your vote matters. Then you hear people say, listen, your vote really don't matter because they still have the electoral vote anyway.
No, it matters. It does matter. No matter what, your vote matters.
Okay.
Especially in local elections. Because the local elections, like in the seat that I hold,
right,
we're the ones deciding what monies go into the community for AAU basketball for our inner city kids. We're the ones deciding on what roads get repaved. We're the ones deciding on, how monies is appropriated for your tax levy, whether they're going to raise property taxes
or bring them
lower
down.
that. Right. And I was fighting over this in the budget meetings in December, and I was like, yo, I got grandmothers who lived in their homes all their lives for decades, and their generational family owned their house for decades, and they can't afford their taxes. The house is paid off. The taxes, they got to eat, sardines and cat food because they can't buy groceries because they're trying to pay the taxes in the city of NEWBURGH. And I'm like, we had an opportunity to decrease the taxes for the homeowners.
Right.
And we did. I fought like crazy, but we did. Even if it's only a couple $100 a year.
Something is better than nothing.
So,
you got to start somewhere.
And that's going this way instead of that way. So we're the ones making those kind of decisions. On how monies are appropriated for the summer program, or if the swimming pool is going to be open through the month of August as well, and stuff like that. So voting is super significant, even if it's at the federal level for the presidency, because the popular vote dictates who gets and earns that state's electoral votes. And understanding how electoral votes are calculated is based on how many House of Representatives you have in the House, and that determines how many. Let's start over. The amount of people in your state determine how many members you have in the House.
Okay.
Because the House of Representatives is based on population.
Okay.
And if you have more representatives in the House based on your population, you're going to have more electoral votes in the electoral college system for your state.
Okay.
All right. And then so there's a strategic way politicians that are running for the presidency cater to certain states, and they will campaign in those states heavy, because if you win certain states, you win those electoral. So it's like a game. The point I'm trying to make,
game of chess.
Yeah, if you don't vote, then now your state don't win your choice doesn't win the popular vote,
right?
Which dictates the electoral vote.
Electoral vote.
Yeah, and also when we talk about the presidency, I just want to say, like I said, put yourself in a position where it's a win-win. So I didn't support Donald Trump, but he won. So I lost on that front, but because I have investments in the stock market, and he comes from the business world, he was a business executive, stocks are up. So even though
that's kind of smart, right? You're right.
See what I'm saying? My vote, I lost the vote,
but your stocks is
up.
But
my stocks is up, and then also, if depending on you handling your business and you moving in a legal way where you got a stable job with a stable income and so on and so forth, people in a certain salary range, he gave tax breaks to, people that got paid today, including myself. We saw $90 extra in our paycheck. So, because he did a tax break. Now, for some people, $90, almost $100.
I gotta check my direct deposit. I didn't check nothing today.
Now, when the federal government, when they passed, because he said, I want a new tax reform bill for Christmas. When it passed through the House and then it passed through the Senate, they had two different bills. They had to merge the two bills. Like I said, stay woke. They merged the two bills. Now, depending on your salary range, determines how much of a tax break you got with that new bill. The reason why people are complaining is that corporate America got like a 21 or 22% decrease in their tax responsibility. Okay? Now, what the corporations are supposed to do is turn that extra tax money that they normally would have paid with this new tax code, they're supposed to hire more workers. The CEO for Apple just said that he's bringing $380 billion back to America because of the new tax code, and also because people have been getting on Apple and other corporations for outsourcing their manufacturing to China.
So they're coming back home. So Apple just said that today. $380 billion they're projecting to put back into the American economy and bring more jobs. So that's what I'm saying by staying woke. Right.
Stay woke. Put yourself in a position where it's a win-win for you. It's a win-win. So if you have stock market and you got this business typhoon from Manhattan, New York City, this real estate dude, Donald Trump, in the White House. No, I didn't support him. No, I don't agree with his outlook on immigration and stuff like that and on race matters. But the stock market is up, and the tax code benefited me a little bit. It was only $90 to $100 extra in my check, but it's still a win.
Something.
It's a win-win.
I agree. Shout out to you, Councilman. Shout out to you. Shout out to the Councilman.
Thank you.
Shout out to my second guest, Louis Pizzo, in the building. Make sure you guys tune in for him.
We talk about the book real quick.
We're about to go right into it because first of all, this book reminds me of a Nefertiti, but it's not. But it reminds me of the Africans, but it's not.
It's got the African silhouette, the African continent.
All right, so let's talk. What's the name of the book?
The book is Ya Sankofa, and Sankofa is a West African term that means to go back and get it.
Ooh.
And because of my research and my family research that I've done for the last 2 years, a lot of my DNA goes back to Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Mali, and Nigeria. So I have a lot of West African ancestors. And when I started researching it, in Ghana, in the West African Kingdom of Ghana, they have what they call the Asante tribe. You have the Asante tribe, then you have the Bantu tribe, and the Zulu tribe. So the Asante used that term Sankofa, and there's a whole West African movement online, because when I started promoting my book of poetry, that's what it is. It's not released until February 22nd, but I'm doing pre-orders on my website, www.torranceharvey.com. You can place an order, and I'm doing pre-orders, and I'm going to personally autograph them. But when I started promoting that on social media, I started getting a lot of emails and inboxes from West Africans saying, yo, there's a whole West African movement called Sankofa. They even had a movie out called Sankofa in, I believe, the 90s. And so because of the movie, copyright laws, I couldn't title my book Sankofa.
Right.
But I said Ya Sankofa, which is like an expression. Go back and get your rich cultural heritage. Go back and get your ancestral wealth, is what I interpret it as. And so that's the name of my book. I told one of my colleagues, I said, I want an African continent on the front cover with a woman's face in it. And shout out to Christine McCartney, English teacher at my job. She's really good with the computer graphics. She found a way to put the woman's face in the African continent, which we're going to be doing t-shirts and all that in February, because that's the motherland. And shout out to my African queens like yourself, Moochie.
And you see with the natural.
Yeah.
You see the natural. I came out today because I just knew you was going to talk.
That looks
I'm about
like
to
you.
say, that's me. Right?
Queens, you know what I'm saying? That look like, yo, and that's real, you know what I'm saying? It's
That's
like,
a fact.
that's the beginning of humanity.
That's a fact.
You know, when we talk about Lucy in Olduvai Gorge, Mother Africa, when they dug her fossils up, that's the oldest living human fossils known to man, and she was founded in what we call Tanzania, which is Africa. So that's, again, world history, part of my curriculum. And I'm telling people, like, stay woke. Understand who we really are.
And where we come from.
Where we come from, man.
I just got to read this passage from the back of this book. It says, sometimes I must move slowly like a cat. Sometimes I must move with dispatch. There are times I must be silent, unheard. Just like the morning spring, sun shining over the harmonious tweeting birds. Then there's that one moment in time I must roar loudly for everyone to hear and fear everywhere, bringing their hearts and minds to understand one thing. I am the true lion and the king. I absolutely love that. And if you didn't understand what I just read, well, in February you can purchase this poetry book, the first to many more books to come. I believe.
Absolutely.
You know what? This has been. Again, I had to say this at the beginning of the show, shout out to Miss Lady Harvey. You know, the Harveys look like the Harveys on TV. All right, shout out to the Harveys. The Harveys here look like the Harveys on TV. Even the way that you carry yourself reminds you of Steve, and the way your wife carries herself reminds you of his wife. That's crazy. Very elegant, very classy. But, you know, I appreciate you being on the show, Councilman, because, you know, people need to be aware. They need to be woke, but because a lot of people are ignorant because they don't know. So thank you for coming on the show and telling us, first of all, that you're a black man that made it out of the struggle. So there is no excuse. You persevered and you pushed through and you did it. Thank you for being a man that, you know, stood in the gap for other little people that don't have men. You're a role model. You're a leader. Thank you for stepping into the politician world and remembering your culture and not forgetting about us. People get in positions and they forget where they came from, or they forget about home. So thank you for being in that position of councilman and fighting for your people along with other people. Thank you for educating us on the real. Social studies is one of my favorite subjects because I like to learn. I love history. So thank you, because we don't have a lot of black history teachers. That we do not have. So thank you for being not only an African American teacher, not only a teacher that's teaching history, but a man at that. It's something about when a man talks to you. I don't care. Children stand at attention. I don't care what it is. Something about a man's voice. We need more men like you, councilman. I thank you for everything that you do. You know, I'm a single mom, and I'm raising boys. So because there's people like you out here, I know that my boys are going to be okay.
That's right.
So I thank you for being a guest on my show, on my little show today. I definitely want everybody to go back and watch the show and share the show and share. Show your kids the show, show your people the show, and if you ever have any questions, I'm sure Mr. Hart, he's gonna give you all of his tags and things like that. But he seems like an approachable dude.
Absolutely.
NEWBURGH, he's got your best interest at heart.
Let me say thank you, Moochie. You know, 845, everybody in the 845, everybody worldwide. I really want to thank you because you are a queen. And you create this platform, and I see you. And the fact that you have this platform, keep doing what you're doing and keep pushing forward, because you said something in the segment before I got on about supporting your local artists, supporting your local DJs, your local producers, writers. Now I'm an author, you know, and supporting my book and other people's books, because there's a lot of young people, especially in the black community, who are writing books and getting self-published or getting published by regular publishing, traditional publishing. Support us, man, because that's where it counts. You know, put your money where your mouth is. Support your local whatever. Because we are the people here in the community. We the people here in the trenches, like you were saying earlier. You know, you go to Swiss Beats or whatever, and shout out to Swiss and Alicia Keys. But you know, what about the people here that are DJing? What about the people here in the 845 that are writing books or that are, you know, doing public speaking? Because you know, we don't want to support. Like they'll say to me in my platform as a councilman, oh, we want you to speak at this event, that event, at the Black History Month event. But then they're like, oh, we heard you got a new book out. Can you do this? But nobody's saying, we got a love offering for you.
Exactly.
Like, I got a wife and kid. I'm trying to I got 2 kids that's got to go to college. Support us, and not only with words, but support us with love and support us with your financial support. Buy the books, buy the mixtape, buy the downloads, you know.
It's not going to kill the people because they would do it anyway. So it wouldn't kill you. It's not like it's going to stop you if you buy this book because you're going to go buy a James Patterson book.
And that's $20. I mean, well, and when it releases in February. $20? Nah, it's $10 retail. $10. But if you pre-order it on my website, TorranceHarvey.com, it's $20 because now I'm going to get it shipped early before the release from the publisher, autograph it personally,
and send it to you,
then mail it out to you overnight.
That's worth it.
You know what I'm saying, that's going to cost me money.
I thought you were just going to look at me and hand me the book. I was about to say $20. Woo!
And you know,
that's food. Listen, you know, it's hard out here for a single mother. You know, my forehead big, so that's $20. That's a bang right here, a little shake. Yo, come on, you know.
But you said it though. We gotta support.
And you know what? And I'm gonna keep. And I always says I'm gonna push that to the end of the day. Support this man as a councilman. Support this man as an educational leader. Support this man as a book author. Support this man as a mentor. But not just him. Many that are aside him, behind him, in front of him, around him. So 845 support each other. Before we get out of here with this amazing, he's sharp too. I tell you, don't you mind Steve Harvey? He's sharp. Them butter skin right there. That's alligator skin. No, that's not smooth. That's moose. He got a moose on his feet. Shout out to to you.
Thank you.
Shout out to you. But before we got here, Councilman, do me a favor, tell the people where they can find you. Anything, any council meetings coming up, any emails, anything you want the tax people to know about you before we get out of here.
Well, you can always find me on Facebook, Instagram. You can also go to my website, which is torranceharvey.com. That's www.torranceharvey.com. You could go to my website, send me messages. You could pre-order the book before the February 22nd release. It's called Yasin Kofa. I'm releasing it intentionally in Black History Month. I got some speaking engagements and some poetry readings that I'm going to have. Once the publisher releases the book, I'm going to be doing in-store signings and stuff like that. Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, online. I even just invested in doing an audio book version of the book as well. And like you said, I got a short story that's I've already written that's coming out. I got another book of poetry, and I'm currently writing a stage play.
Ooh.
I'm writing a stage play right now. So, it's all about, like I said, staying woke, put yourself in a position where it's a win-win for you. And last point I want to make as a history teacher, primary source documents are important. And writing this book and getting it published is going to leave a historical legacy for my children's children's children. So one day they'll understand the point of view or perspective I have as a black man living in America during the Trump presidency or during the Obama presidency.
Because that's historical events.
Those are historical events. And they can see and understand that I'm also creating intellectual properties, which intellectual properties bring residual income. So you can diversify your income. And it's, like I said, positioning yourself in a way where it's a win-win for you, no matter who wins the White House or who doesn't. And let me tell you, lastly, African nations, 54 African nations, and Haiti are not shithole countries. We come from greatness. We come from kings and queens. We come from dynasties. All right? And so when we talk about Africa, don't let nobody tell you that the African nations and Haiti are shithole countries, because let me tell you something. It was the European imperialists that raped, murdered, and pillaged our people, all right, and stole our resources and took our gold, our platinum, our diamonds, our uranium, our rubber, cotton, sugar cane, and whatever, cocoa beans, coffee beans. They took our natural resources, drained these countries, all right, for their mercantilism and for their, imperialistic wealth. That's how the British Empire was built. That's how the French and the Spanish empires were built. These colonial empires made wealth. Before Haiti revolted, and I'm going to say this last point because the Haitian Revolution was 1791, Toussaint L'Ouverture and Boukman, before they revolted, against the French colonial empire, France was going through a revolution, and prior to that, 53% of the French empire's wealth came from Haiti.
Don't drop the mic. Don't you dare drop the mic, because you just went straight gangster.
You know what I'm saying? 53% of a European colonial empire's wealth came out of Haiti.
The shithole country.
The shithole country. So when we saw, that's why I say stay woke and know your history. How you going to call Haiti a shithole country? Because after the Haitians revolted, which was the first African nation in world history to revolt against a colonial European power and won, they won. All the European countries turned their backs on Haiti and created what we call economic sanctions or embargoes and didn't do business with Haiti. The French obviously wouldn't do business with Haiti and all their allies. And after decades and hundreds of years of turning your economic back and not doing trade and not doing business with Haiti, what do you expect they're going to be, a third world country? You know that. Now you don't forgot the history.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, men lie, like Jay-Z said, I'm taking Jay-Z's words. Men lie, women lie, the numbers don't lie. 53% of the French colonial empire's wealth came out of Haiti.
Stay woke. I'm gonna end the show like that. Hit it, DJ.
Yeah. 1, 2.
1, 2. Shout out to Councilman Harvey. Stay woke.